And it's a line drive to
Key lime margarita?
Yeah. What are you doing?
Just watch.
Whoa.
Hi.
Go for it.
Thanks.
What about me?
Got you covered. Hey!
Whoa.
Hey!
Hey.
Hey.
Lefty O'Doul's drink mixes at these fine stores.
What are you doing? I'm getting the girl back.
With a live audience at the Gold Dust Lounge at Fisherman's Wharf, it's the Will and Willie Show, brought to you by Lefty O'Doul's Drink Mixes, your bartender in a bottle. I'm Paul Wells.
I'm Will Durst. And I'm Willie the Brown.
And we're here as our pre-primary special with Tuesday, the 3rd, being the voting day. And will people vote? That's a good question.
You know, there's nothing really exciting about the primary election this time around.
Nothing.
Unless, of course, you're really a candidate. You know, if you're you're Donnelly from the Republican side, you know you're going to get X number of votes, and that's it. And lo and behold, something happens terrible in Santa Barbara, and one of the planks in your platform gets silenced, so to speak, with the shooting spree that the young man went on in Santa Barbara.
So that Tea Party guy who's running for the Republican nomination,
That's the
yeah,
guy. Yeah,
he's got to shift his entire focus for the next 5 days.
Well, I think he just has to shut up.
Is that possible?
Focus. Because it's interesting, though, Will. His people are so riveted and so devoted that the incident that occurred in Santa Barbara does not cause them to think twice about whether or not there should be some reconsideration to the question of the availability of firearms. I am just appalled at the fact that sheriffs would go out to a place where parents have said, my kid posted on the YouTube all of these horrible things, and I think you ought to go out and check him out because I think he's a little off. And he clearly was way off. They go out there, and the sheriff says he seemed like such a nice guy. We didn't search his house, etc. Well, wait a minute. Why would you go out there if you didn't first check to see whether or not he has any registered weapons? Why would you risk your manpower to go there without doing some preliminary checking? Now, if it was an alleged crack dealer in Oakland, you would definitely check before you go. And you go in there with your guns drawn.
With a SWAT team.
And a whole SWAT team.
Breaking down
But you
the
go
door.
in with this kid and you let this kid get away with, and all these guns are registered to this kid. If you go in this kid's house and you find out that he has 3 guns, 3 automatic weapons, more than 400 rounds of ammunition, and he clearly is in need of Laura's law, you got a guy that you ought to do something about.
And in his manifesto, he actually talked about the cops coming and how he was able to, just cool them down and I think he actually wrote this. Thank God they didn't check my house. They would have found all the guns.
No question, but you got to.
But he's an upper class white kid.
Yeah, but how does law enforcement go anywhere where somebody says there is a problem and they don't do an assessment of where they're going for their own personal protection? I would kind of want to know whether or not I'm visiting a place that you're asking me to investigate. I'd want to know whether or not there's any risk to me in approaching that, which means before I go, I ought to push a button on the computer and see whether or not you have anything registered. You might have a bazooka registered in it. I watch 24. They always check before. They always check before they go. They don't go in there.
Wow, Chloe looks tough, doesn't she? She looks rough.
Have you been watching?
Yeah, of course. Have you been watching?
Yeah, but the interesting thing is Bauer is really not much a part of the story.
Oh, he will be.
Bauer
he
is
will
just kind of. That's right. It's like he's making a cameo. He just comes, nothing. He talks and then
he talks and nobody listens.
That's right.
They don't believe him. Yeah.
And he gets right up to the nose of the girl that he's been with a long time, and she's now married to somebody else. And she clearly is ready to,
Yeah.
you know.
And he said, yeah.
And-
That was,
and-
you saw it yesterday.
Well,
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm required to see it.
For people who don't get the history here, Willie and I, a long time ago, 100 years ago, I think when radio was still in black and white, we had a radio show. Paul Wells produced it, and it was on
It was the morning show on 960.
We did a morning
San
show for a
Francisco.
year or so, and 24 was on, and every Tuesday was dedicated to the 24 update. We would have a whole segment on it.
For your information, it's really the only work we've ever done.
It's research.
3 hours a day? I mean, could you imagine that? 3 hours.
I had to get up at 4:30.
Same here. Are you kidding me? And then you had to read all them damn newspapers. You had to. But you know what, though, Will? We were the forerunner to Morning Joe.
Yeah.
Because we had people who read
Yeah.
books, people who had done interviews. We had what was his name?
Politicians. We had
Yeah.
your Rolodex.
We had the cat in D.C. Letsikoff. What was his name?
Isikoff.
Isikoff. We had Isikoff on. We were ahead of the bloggers. We had all those kinds of things going where we really chatted with people and did things. We had P.J. Corker, he'd come by. It was really a very good show, but it was really hard work. I don't remember working that hard. As a matter of fact, since I left Mineola, when I had to get up early enough to go pick cotton, this was the next thing that I did as a cotton picker.
And you came in every morning at 3 minutes to 7.
No,
We started
sir.
at 7.
3
yes.
minutes to 7. But you had read the entire New York Times and the San Francisco Chronicle, and to this day, I do not know how you did that.
Nor do I. But I'm telling you, in today's world, you've got to read the Wall Street Journal. That's the summary of all the other side of the whole world. And it really is a fairly good newspaper in terms of its adequacies and the content thereof,
I read
although
3
it's
newspapers a
warped.
day. Do you know how hard that is? Now I got to throw the Wall Street Journal in there. It's so hard. Just keep it up with the New York Times and the San Francisco Chronicle, and then I try to throw a USA Today or the Examiner is nice because the Examiner you can whip through in about 15 minutes. But the New York Times.
Or less.
Well, I'm glad you didn't say the Chronicle in 15 minutes, since I write for the Chronicle.
Sunday. You cannot whip through on Sundays, the
I-
Chronicle in
I-
15 minutes.
I loved it. My friend Herb Cain, years ago, he's long since passed on.
Pictures up on the
when,
wall here.
When Danielle Steele was like the author of
Right.
the world.
Yeah.
I mean, like 69 consecutive first round activities for the New York Times
yeah.
lists and what have you. And Herb used to say to me, it's kind of amazing. Have you read any one of her books? And he said, before you answer that, I don't think there's enough time, is there? Oh, he said it takes more time for her. Takes more time to read the book than for her to write it.
Ooh. Didn't she leave San Francisco because
Oh yeah,
it
she
wasn't
lives in
classy
Paris.
enough?
She lives in Paris.
I thought she
lives-
came back.
Well, she comes back regularly because she is.
But it wasn't
the
classy
ex-wife.
enough for her? People
yeah,
weren't
but she's
dressing
the
up?
ex-wife of that guy that, said the Holocaust and the techies are in the same world.
that's
That
right.
guy
Oh, yeah,
Tom
yeah,
Perkins, who lives in one of those high rises. She still has her house up on Washington. She still has that beautiful mansion on Washington, which has a grand ballroom on the first floor. But that line that Herb did, where that I gave you, is a good one. Period. And so, in this business of reading, you scan the newspapers, you can read one and scan the others for contrast on same stories, because they all do the same stories. I wish they do multiple stories. When I first came to San Francisco, there were, I think, 5 daily newspapers. You had a couple afternoon newspapers.
Call.
You had the
Call, Bulletin.
Yeah, and you had one other, an Independent or some other paper in the afternoon, and in the mornings you had the Chronicle and 2 or 3 other papers, and they all fought for independence.
For news.
That's right, for independent news, and they did local news. They really did local news. They did what the internet couldn't do, so to speak, and isn't doing. Period. And it was good for me to, as nosy as I am.
Because there was always something going on.
And not only that, they printed gossip. I mean, people don't print gossip anymore.
No, you're gonna buy
How am I
gossip
gonna-
magazines.
Yeah, how am I going to how can I live vicariously if you don't do gossip?
Herb Cain did gossip.
Full time.
Yeah.
Full time.
And-
it was his stock in trade.
I like Leah Garchik, but it's not. She's too. No, it's not gossipy. There's no blind.
Leah
items
is too
and-
factual.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't. They said to me once, a few years ago when I first started doing the column, they called on and said, "Is this really accurate?" I said, "It's a column. What do you mean, is it accurate?" It's inspired by fiction. So stay with it, will you? There'll be no fact check on my column.
Now here's what I want to know: is anybody watching 24 now that it's made its comeback?
I hope they are.
Yeah. No, but I mean across the country. Is it going to get renewed? Do we know this yet?
Well, it's only 12 episodes.
I know.
You know, they only have
I
12
know.
episodes, and I don't think it's having the same impact that it had.
But
because,
nothing is.
well, but let me tell you why. In this case, 24 relied upon a heavy accent of technology that had not been exposed. None of us had really been exposed to what
They were able to do.
What you were able to do. The kind of, and now everybody does the same thing. You got people looking inside the building. Oh, watch out! There's a guy coming down the hall. He's on the left.
Right.
I mean, they were doing
Person
that,
of
you know.
interest is doing
That's
it.
right.
Blacklist is doing it.
Everybody is doing all those kinds of things, and so I think they got to move to a new level. What they have done, though, is they have now focused attention on these things that fly around without any pilots,
The drones.
the drones. Because the drones look like they're fighting the war.
And hacking the drones is something that people have been warning us about for years, and they finally used it as a plot point.
I bought my. I bought.
You
my
bought a
grandson.
drone? You
I
bought a
my-
drone?
I bought my grandson
A drone?
Yeah, they have toy drones.
Oh,
They
I
do.
thought one with 6 Tomahawk
Oh, no,
missiles
no,
or
it's not
something.
out there. It's
It's not a rubber band propeller on it.
No, I bought him a toy drone, and his parents say, "Oh, no. That's a no for Grandpa."
All right.
Like, hey, wait a minute,
Here's the problem
He
is
can do any damage with
us
that
damn
drone.
liberals and progressives, we got to start investing in guns because, when it happens and only the Republicans have guns, who's going to take over? We got to meet this firepower right in the middle. We got to do an equal. So I think everybody should buy a gun.
Oh my God!
Wow, did it get quiet here?
Whoa! Will has had it.
Yeah, I have. Well, when the apocalypse comes, when the comet comes and it blows up
But
the
you
Golden
know, the
Gate Bridge,
interesting-
because everything
well-
blows up the Golden Gate Bridge, for crumb's sake.
No.
Godzilla blew up the Golden Gate Bridge.
No, he bit the Golden
Oh,
Gate
he
Bridge.
bit it?
He
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
He bit the
Only
Gold-
bit it.
He bit it. I saw
Every,
it.
flesh
every
wound.
monster.
He reached
Star
up and
Trek,
grabbed it.
they screw up the Golden
But you know
Gate
what
Bridge.
they didn't do? They didn't touch the Willie Brown Bridge.
There you go. Too much of a workhorse bridge between Oakland and San Francisco.
They didn't. I guess it doesn't. It doesn't register as well with the people in the minds of people. But Godzilla, it's really a San Francisco film. It's amazing. It's not like Bullet or any of the other films that we've had here. But it's actually a good film when you find the monster.
Did you like the 98 version with Matthew Broderick?
No, this one is better.
Yeah?
I saw them both, but this one is much better. But I tell you, the film you got to go see.
Which is?
2. Chef. and
Oh,
Bell.
the one with John Favreau.
Yeah, and Bell.
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 B-E-L-L?
B-E-L-L. L-E.
Oh.
B-E-L-L-E. Oh, really a
Foreign film? Foreign film?
No, it should be a foreign film, but it's independent, and lots of the conversation in there. You know, you got to read, so you don't want to go there if you can't read.
We'll get back to our movie on the Will and Willie show. Our
Right, we
feature
should have
today,
saved this for the last segment.
Orgy and Mudhead. I'm Paul Wells with Willie Brown and Will Durst. It's the Will and Willie show, live from the Gold Dust Lounge, Fisherman's Wharf, being videotaped by MySource TV and at willandwillie.com if you want to see the videos. And we'll be right back. Let's be on the waterfront in San Francisco with Proposition B and a whole lot more. Stay with us.